Hey guys, now you can follow me on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/UltraMaximusReviews. Cybertron Weekly is your central hub for everything Transformers.
Shockwave doesn't use a glider, the Hobgoblin does, betcha?
Your conclusion is most logical.
You are
You suck.
Hello YouTube, Ultra Maximus back with another toy review, and today we're going to take a look at another Transformers figure. It's Shockwave from Transformers Siege, War for Cybertron trilogy. Now Shockwave is a Leader Class figure, so he's pretty expensive. He was like 50 bucks, and this is the first time I've actually seen him out and about in the wild. I found him at my local Walmart, and I was like, do I want to get him? And I figured I'd go ahead and pick him up because I probably won't see him again, knowing my luck. I'm a huge Shockwave fan, so this is going to be very, very fun. I don't know about his extra armor, but the core figure looks awesome. So let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. So here we have the Shockwave in the packaging, and it's pretty much the same type of packaging we've been getting for the Siege figure. This guy kind of rounds out every figure I wanted for Wave 1. We get some really nice artwork of Shockwave on the side. We get the Decepticon logo up here at the top. It says Siege, Transformers, Takara Tomy, and then Hasbro at the bottom. We get this nice poster-looking piece on the side right here. So just kind of a close-up. There's the Decepticon logo. There he is, looking all Shockwave-like. Not much paint damage or battle damage on this figure from the onset it looks, which is interesting compared to the others. Love that artwork. And then, of course, this is the same piece we've seen on all of the Siege figures, which is pretty cool. Back of the packaging here, it's got Shockwave with these 15 different gun things for his armor, and then here he is in his core figure riding around on his little scooter. Glider type of thing, which kind of reminds me of either the Green Goblin or Optimus Primal. So that's kind of weird, and then he turns into a spaceship. Of course he does, you know, can't turn him into a gun. And then we've got Ultra Magnus also available, which I've already reviewed. Go check it out. It's definitely a fun figure. Might be my favorite figure of the line. I guess we'll compare him to Shockwave here. But yeah, definitely pretty fun. So just kind of a close-up. There he is, all battle armored out. And then there's the core figure riding around on the little scooter. And then there's the spaceship mode and Ultra Magnus. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the packaging. Let's go ahead and get Shockwave out of the box and see what we think. So here we have the Shockwave out of the packaging, and this thing looks like a mess. I do not like this armored up version at all. I think this is absolutely ridiculous. I like the fact that they tried something different with Shockwave, but this is not it for me. These extra guns that look exactly like that gun is just utterly ridiculous to me. I don't like this giant backpack hanging off here with these little pieces that just kind of flop out. If you were going to add all these extra guns, make these flip up so they could be guns as well, I guess. And then it looks like he's wearing, well, I don't know, skis or snowshoes or something. It just, this is not a good-looking figure at all with this armor. That being said, all these pieces do come off, and we get a really nice-looking Shockwave underneath, which is very, very cool. As far as articulation goes on this figure, these pieces do not hamper the articulation, which is nice. His head is on a really nice ball joint that looks up and down. He also has some very, very nice light piping, which is very, very cool. His arms do move up and down. They move out. There's a hinge joint. They twist. These little arms also move up and down and are on twists. He's got a swivel at the waist right there. His legs do kick up really, really far. They kick out really far. They don't kick back much. with these pieces in the way. You gotta kind of move those out of the way. Nice ratchety joint, twist at the upper leg. We get a really nice ratchety knee right there. The feet do have that crazy ankle rocket pivot we love, but they're kind of hampered on these snowshoes, and well, yeah, they don't really work so well with the snowshoes on, because that's as wide as they go with both feet still flat on the floor. Now, while I've complained about this figure a lot in this mode, these pieces do come off and they basically become a glider that, I don't know, the Hobgoblin or the Green Goblin would use, and it becomes a pretty decent looking Shockwave. So let's go ahead and get these bits off and see what that Shockwave looks like. Shockwave with his glider, and this is definitely the better look for Shockwave. I really like this mode. I think this looks a lot like the G1 version, and to be honest, I wouldn't mind getting a repaint of the Radio Shack version of this guy. Now, he does fit on the glider pretty easily. There are a couple peg holes right here that he just kind of sits on the glider like that. Let's see if I can get him on here real quick. I'll peg him onto one of them right there at least. So yeah, I mean, he fits onto the glider pretty well. It looks kind of goofy, but I can see him kind of flying around, you know, Cybertron, I guess, going from, I don't know, laboratory to laboratory or something. It kind of reminds me of something that you might see on Beast Wars, which is, you know, kind of weird. So taking a closer look at the figure itself, here we have a Shockwave with all his extra battle armor components, and I don't like this look at all. I really dislike this aesthetic. I do like the sculpt of Shockwave himself, but all this extra kibble just seems like overkill and looks goofy to me. You know, they're designed okay, they just, I don't care for the look. So taking a closer look at the midsection, here we have all 400 arms of this Shockwave. The fact he's got 3 of his blaster guns on it just looks really, really goofy to me. I appreciate the fact they try to do something different with him, but I mean, I don't know. This was a total miss for me. I love the fact that the components come off so that we get a good looking Shockwave underneath it. This backpack back here is absolutely ridiculous with these parts just kind of hanging off of there. I don't know why they couldn't design those to move forward and become additional guns, since we've already got like 3 extra ones going on here, but I guess it is what it is. And finally, taking a look at the legs in the armored up mode, this just looks ridiculous. It looks like he's wearing snowshoes, and then he's got these little wings on the side that kind of give him a Submariner kind of look. I mean, I don't know. It makes it very stable to stand, but it just looks ridiculous, and it looks like he has Cybertronian blaster flip-flops. I'm not impressed. So taking a closer look at the proper Shockwave in this set, I love the aesthetic. It's very G1. Love the light piping on it, the little silver ears, love the chest piece. Everything looks so much cleaner when you take those armor bits off. He's still got this major backpack going on that kind of looks like an old school flashlight to me, like an emergency light, but I don't know, it's okay. It works. It doesn't really hurt the aesthetic of the figure so much. Which is nice. There's a lot of sculpted detail on there, but yeah, definitely looks a lot better without all the extra pieces. I'm glad they designed this figure to have a much more G1 look without the extra parts, for sure. So taking a look at the midsection of the figure, again, loving this look a lot better. I like the silver paint apps on the little tube. That's much more visually nice looking. The fact that he's got the Decepticon logos on both the arms, very nice. I kind of wish that his gun arm was a translucent purple. I think that might have looked a little bit cooler, but overall not too bad. The waist looks decent. I like the gray and the purple. We get the great big backpack going on here again, but again, it's not affecting the aesthetic of the G1 look, which is nice. And I don't know, man, I just really like the way this looks without all the armor bits. To me, this is Shockwave. And finally, taking a look at the legs of the figure. Again, very stable, even without the great big snowshoes. I like the fact that there's no real gappage going on the legs here. I like the silver paint apps on the side. I think that looks really good. He's got these nice big silver feet, big clunkers, which Shockwave should have. The kneecaps look good. All the design, very G1. And again, very stable and nice solid ratchet joints everywhere. For comparison, and here we have the ultra armored, extra armed Shockwave in his snowshoes next to Soundwave. And I really do like these figures next to each other, at least with this guy without all the armor on. I think they look really nice. They look very G1, and yeah, I mean, they're pretty badass. Because it's Shockwave and Soundwave. Of course they are. And here we have Shockwave in his other alternate mode. It's his spaceship mode, and it's okay, I suppose. It looks better, I think, than the Soundwave spaceship, and I guess it kind of looks like a Decepticon warship, but there's some very bad gappy issues going on. I don't particularly care for the gap right there, or the gaps up around the legs back here. That's just kind of eh. And then the tube, having it go along the side where that gun is, I think that's just a bad move. But overall, it's okay. It's interesting that it's got a little light piping piece up there with a little Shockwave looking head. Very interesting. I do like the back end here. Lots of guns. That's pretty cool. The wings look kind of nice and beefy. The gun stock kind of turns into a bridge piece. Looks like we have a massive cannon up here, which is very cool. Lots of weapons. We get the little gun ports right there. That looks nice. The back of the ship actually looks better than the front, I think. It looks like a Decepticon warship from the back. I think that looks really cool. In fact, it's got a little landing gear piece up there. It's interesting. Didn't expect that to be there. But yeah, overall, it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. I definitely prefer Shockwave to be in his gun mode as an alternate, but as far as cartoon spaceships go, this one's not so bad, I suppose. So here we have Shockwave in his gun mode, and it actually doesn't look too terribly bad. I actually kind of like it. Now, I will say it's not the most stable because this piece right here does not clamp on to that handle piece all that securely. But it does enough so where it kind of gives you the gun type of mode. So yeah, I mean, it looks pretty cool. It's basically halfway in the spaceship mode, and then you take one of the gun bits here and connect it to that. Now, if you want to, you can take these pieces off and then connect the wire up here to the main bit to kind of give it more of a traditional kind of Shockwave mode. The only downfall of this, the other attachment like this, really does not have a place on this gun point. But yeah, overall, it's not too bad. I mean, you can hold it like this and pew 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 all day long if you'd like. But yeah, you know, not too terribly bad. And it looks like the G1 Shockwave gun mode for the most part. So is the War for Cybertron Siege Leader Class Shockwave a figure you want in your Transformers collection? I'm going to say yes, not for all of this. To be honest, this shouldn't have been a Leader Class. They should have just made him a Voyager Class. All this extra junk is really kind of worthless to me, and I don't like the aesthetic. The fact he's got multiple Shockwave type arms is really weird. The fact it turns into like the glider the Hobgoblin would use is also very weird. I like the fact we get a fan-made gun mode out of it. I don't know if that was purposeful by the engineers, but definitely cool to get that. I think this figure is overpriced. This should be a $40 figure at most. And again, I don't want all this extra stuff on it. So it's definitely going to get displayed without the extra armor on it on my shelf. So there he is, Shockwave from Transformers Siege.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, thumbs it up. If you hate this video, thumbs it down. To watch more Ultra Maximus, click on the links to the right. Don't forget to subscribe and share, like us on Facebook, and look for more videos in the future.